Naked You, and owner and founder of the New View. I've got Cindy Tavinor here, um, owner and founder of ARK Sportswear. So I'm just interviewing her about some themes around the book. And, Cindy's created a amazing online brand through just doing what she loves and a lot of word of mouth. So, Cindy, can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
So I design sportswear for all just ladies, getting into some men's and kids stuff soon. But it's basically just nice, bright sort of colors, designs. Try and set the mood and the tone to change people's, um, like try and change the mood, like while you're working out, get you in a better mood. Try and, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's right, because colors vibration. So,
yeah,
and you know that. So when you're wearing a different color, you actually feel different.
yeah,
And
that's
a lot of
right.
people aren't aware of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And your clothing's also compression clothing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So it helps with the muscle recovery, circulation. It helps to draw the moisture away from your skin so you don't get really hot and sweaty like while you're working out. It's not see-through at all, so it's quite a functional fabric. And also my all my ranges are more about comfort rather than the kind of high fashion sort of look. So I'm more into the practicality sort of side of sportswear. I've been training for pretty over about 20 years. So yeah, I've had a lot of experience and a lot of clothing that doesn't fit right, that falls up when you're doing burpees, that
Yeah.
is see through, that falls down. So I'm and that's why I've tried to change all that. And yeah,
Okay, that's perfect. And what made you get into ARC Sportswear in the first place?
I um I started making my own swimwear when I was about 10 years old. I jumped on the sewing machine, absolutely loved it. Used to sell stuff to some of my friends when I was younger. And
Yeah.
then after my third baby, I started getting right back into training and found that whenever I'd wear the bright sort of clothing, that it would change my mind. It would maybe train harder, but you couldn't really get it anywhere. So I started making my own. I had friends and family that I was making some for as well, and then just sort of put it out there one day that if anyone would like anything, and got a bit of a response back. So it just grew from about two pairs of designs to what it is now. So it's
Wow,
been
congratulations as
Thank
well.
you. It's been it's been a tough ride, but it's real rewarding to do what you love. Like I absolutely love doing it. So
Yeah.
it's good fun.
And I think as well, a lot of mothers out there, they don't think that they can juggle being a mother and also doing what they love. So what piece of advice would you have for them?
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, just follow your heart. Just don't think of the massive picture. Just set little goals, you know.
Mm.
Um, you don't being a mum doesn't restrict you at all. Like I've got three kids. I was working when I started all this. I was working 3 days a week as well as my husband working away for weeks at a time. So I was very time poor. Plus I was working out as well. So it's just doing what you can, not overthinking everything. So you're not kind of putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and just asks for support too. Like asks, yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is just not to let things get to you when things don't work out. It's yeah.
How have you stopped things getting to you? Because anyone who pursues their dream is going to overcome a lot of obstacles and challenges. So how have you been able to do it personally?
Well, training.
That's
Exercise. I
a great answer.
I work out every morning. I'm usually my kids are up at 5 o'clock every morning on the dot, sometimes earlier. So I drag them along to the gym. They eat breakfast there, and I have a little creche that I stick them in. Then yeah, I find that if I don't work out, then it's I can't think, I can't function, and I let things get to me. Whereas that's kind of my release. So I think you need your time out, like whatever it is, sitting and reading or whatever. But that's my sort of release, and
Yeah.
my inner peace is when I'm flogging myself to
Yeah.
exhaustion.
Yeah. And everybody has a different level of me time.
Yeah,
But it is scientifically proven that exercise actually releases endorphins, that it makes you feel good.
yeah.
So what does exercise do to your mindset? Like you mentioned that it doesn't let things get to you. What else does it do for your mindset?
It clears my head. All those little chattery sort of moments that you get, it clears it. It's that time where you step out and you don't have to think about washing up. You don't have to think about the duties. You don't have to think about, paying a certain bill or the kids, like it's it's just your time where it's just you, and yeah, it's my freedom, like,
Yeah. So
and
it's
that's
almost like a meditation because
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
most people get
that's
out of
it.
meditation. And
Yes,
I think, as much as I believe exercise is important and everyone still has their own path, I believe, of
yeah,
what feels right for them on a daily basis.
that's
And I
right.
think the key thing for any listeners to take on board is just the fact that you make sure that you invest time in yourself every single day.
Yes, yeah,
And a lot of women, especially women, don't do that. And a lot of mothers don't do that. They don't
yes,
take the time for themselves because they're so busy just giving to other people, to their children, to their partner, to their family, and they haven't actually taken time for themselves.
that's
So,
exactly right.
do you feel like you have more energy for what you love, for your family, for what you do because you, you've invested time in yourself?
That's right. Yeah, definitely. I find I can put more into my day. I can put more towards the kids, more towards my husband, more towards the business. When I do have my time. See, if I don't have my time, then I can't think straight. I can't put all that extra time into
Mhm.
it. Like there are sacrifices you have to make. Like, yeah, my house isn't as spotless as like I've got drawings all over every single wall in this place, but at the same time, it's kind of
It's not that important.
yeah, like you have to. Everything can't be exactly perfect. And I think that's where you kind of have to step back and say what is important to you, and, like, let the little things go, because, drawings on walls isn't going to kind of, I used to freak out and think, yeah, but now it's kind of gotten to that point where, yeah, well, I'd rather have that inner peace and be able to put that time that I was scrubbing the walls into doing something else, like it's a whole lot of balance, I think.
So, what helped you get from that mindset of, I'm going crazy, there's drawing all over the wall, to it's actually not that important? Like, where was that transition?
Um, Probably when I started the business, I think when I started realizing that there is more to life and more to the whole circle of waking up, taking the kids to daycare, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, baths, bed, and doing it all over again. Like, I found once I kind of broke that cycle and realized that, oh, things aren't going to fall apart, then that was a big turning point.
I
Um,
love that you say that because I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of people are just waiting for something to change before they decide to act differently. When
yeah.
I believe, and it's going to be in my book, I believe is action has to come first a lot of the time.
Yeah, or
And
you have to make it.
actually,
Mm.
yeah, and that actually fuels the direction that you want to go in because it starts shifting things in you because of the action that you took. You didn't
Yeah,
wait for things to change before you decided to open the business.
yeah, that's right. I never intended to have my own business. I never intended to, you know, be doing what I love. It's kind of just fallen into place, and it takes that step of, doing something you're a little bit scared of to kind of just break that wall, and then it just kind of things just happen, and it's weird. It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been very fortunate in the sense that it's happened to have fallen into place for you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my perception is that it hasn't necessarily fallen into place, that you haven't, I think that makes people think that you haven't done anything. But
Oh,
speaking to you, I can see how much work you've done. I can see that you challenge yourself. I can see that you're self-aware. I can see that if you know that something doesn't serve you, you know that it doesn't serve you and you're not going to continue doing it. And you
yeah.
also have the courage to step outside your comfort zone.
That's
So those are the recipes that allowed you to live this life now. And it's just been somewhat effortless because you haven't tried to fight yourself and you haven't grabbed onto your comfort zone and you're like, no, I'm going to stay here and no one's going to help me. But I think you're a good example as to when you really trust yourself, that things can work out quite smoothly. So do you believe that you have a higher level of trust in yourself?
Oh, yeah, and I think I have a higher level of not thinking too far ahead, which is kind of
It's important. I think it's important.
it's kind of one of my downfalls too. I don't really think about stuff until it's kind of come right up, and then I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it takes a bit of like my husband does all the thinking for me. I come in with all the crazy ideas, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then he goes, oh, but what about this, and this? And I'm like, oh well, whoops, I've already done it. So I'm kind of a do now, think later kind of person, and yeah, I think that's kind of I've had to make it work, and I've had to step outside of the box most of the times to you know try and give it my all and do something that I haven't really done before. So
Yeah. So would you say that a lot of your decisions were based on what felt right as opposed to what
yeah,
logic?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely, yeah,
Yeah. And I think that's a big distinction because
yeah,
especially a lot of women that are in corporate jobs that are doing very well. I was working real estate for a couple of years before I opened up my business, and a lot of the decisions that I was making was with my head.
yeah,
And I live a much more fulfilled life now because I follow my heart a lot more than my head.
yeah. See, yeah, I'm more of a heart follower and sort of go with, what I think's right. And if I
Right
get
for you.
if I get a sense of something, then I'll kind of go with it, and then see what happens later. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, well,
It's
it's
not a
works.
bad thing at all. You're very present. It's very good.
Yeah, just
It's
kind of have
very
a
good.
positive mind, positive outlook on, everything. Like out of any single thing that you do, there's always something positive, even if it's the most negative thing out there. You can find some positive in it, and
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter how little it is. If you grab hold of that instead of looking at any of the negative stuff, you can learn from it, and you can make
Yeah.
something.
On that as well, how important has your environment and the people you've surrounded yourself by played a part in your mindset and the success of your business?
Um, It hasn't really. I kind of haven't really been surrounded by too many people.
By
It,
environment, I mean your husband. Is he supportive of you? Does he encourage you to do the business?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
by
Now he does.
environment, I mean like your kids. Are they supportive of you?
Yeah, the little ones they are. They're a little bit too little to kind of know too much. But yeah, they know when to give me a break. Hubby's very supportive now. he's on board, and he's he works away a lot, so it's quite hard for him to be here to kind of help out with most of the stuff. But he's very supportive, and he understands how important this is to me, and yeah, he helps out, and we go to seminars, and he he's amazing. So no,
Yeah.
it's really good. Yeah.
And maybe the other four people you see and speak to the most, outside of your husband and your kids, the four next people you are closest to, are they quite supportive of you as well?
Yeah, yeah, no, very supportive. Yeah, it's mainly sort of people that I bump into at the gym or, around school. And so I don't really talk too much business um, sort of side of it. But yeah, they're always making sure that I'm okay and sending messages and, oh, how you going? And yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit introvert. Like I yeah, I like to sort of stay in my bubble and a little bit shy. So it's kind of
Yeah.
yeah,
I know that this talk and publishing this is quite outside your comfort zone as well.
yeah.
Yeah, but you're still doing it, which is the
Yeah,
amazing thing.
that's it. So yeah, well, as I said, you go with your heart and you think what's kind of right. Like I'm all about kind of yeah, just doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, I can see that you have such a positive environment around you. So by environment, I mean the people you surround yourself by on a regular basis. Because, like I said, I speak to a lot of people, and the people they surround themselves by, um, just don't think to a larger scale. They're happy just plugging along, doing the same thing day in, day out,
Yeah,
and I think that if you surround yourself by those types of people, that it doesn't encourage you to want to step outside the box.
yeah,
but
that's
but you have a husband who's very like-minded to you and who's growing in the adventure with you. And
yeah.
it sounds to me that you guys also don't have a controlling relationship like a lot of people in society.
Oh no.
You've had to learn how to be by yourself and stand as a woman, but also have your husband there too.
Yeah. And I think yeah, it's kind of had the space to think, but he's always supportive of everything I do. So it's really
Yeah,
good to have that. Yeah, I think you
that's
need it.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's so important.
yeah.
Also, with have you made many decisions, just in your life in general and with your business, where you don't know how things are going to turn out and you just had to have blind faith?
That's my life.
I love that.
You just explain my life in that sentences. Oh, dear.
Well, that's good. Can you explain that to me a little bit more?
Oh, where do we start? We're kind of on a whim sort of people. With hubby, he was a professional footballer, so we kind of travelled the countryside, but we'd so we'd get a phone call and say, "Oh, do you want to have a trial up in this place?" And that's how we ended up in Rockhampton. We were down in Sydney, and got a phone call and said, "Oh, you can come up here and have a trial." And yeah, we kind of haven't left. We come up here not knowing anybody, to play football, and we've been here nearly 5 years, I think.
Wow.
And other things like we decided one day that, like when we first moved up here, that yeah, we might go and look at buying a house. Never even considered buying a house. Didn't even know if we could buy a house from the banks. Went and had a look at the first house we seen and went, oh yeah, all right, let's buy it. And then went to the bank and figured out how we'd come up with the money. It's
So your
just
husband still does what he loves, is that correct?
he's actually he's studying to do what he loves. He's working with trucks and excavators and working out of town at the moment, but he's studying his cert 3 and 4 in fitness, which is what he absolutely loves and what he's really good at. So he's been
Yeah.
around uh, for probably about the same 15, 20 years being a footballer. So that's the avenue he wants to go down, and helping people and change their lives. So he's studying for that. Hopefully finish up middle next year. So
That's good.
and he can do what he loves. Yeah. So
He's
at the
moving
moment,
in the direction that he wants to, which is the most important thing. Most
yeah,
people spend their life talking about it, but not actually doing anything about it.
yeah. So at the moment, his mindset is more letting me do what I'm doing, and follow my dream first, and then he's studying to do his. So yeah, he's kind of put me first, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm so grateful for. So
It
I can,
is.
yeah, that's good.
Also, I'm not sure if you've heard the quote, but somebody can't believe something in you if they don't believe it in themselves.
Yeah.
So he would not have had the belief in you that you can do anything that you want to do if he doesn't believe. And the fact that he's also following his dreams, it gives you more motivation and more support to follow your dreams.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly right. So
So
you can.
how, sorry?
Oh, no, you're right.
um, so one of my other questions is how much would you say you've had to put yourself out there and go outside your comfort zone and, to an extent feel vulnerable that, it's so outside your comfort zone? How often are you in those situations? Is it daily? Is it like how often do you push
Um,
yourself outside your comfort
usually,
zone?
yeah, usually kind of a couple of times a week, especially social media stuff. Um, Sort of putting it out there, and things that I wouldn't normally sort of say to people, especially online, and interacting with customers, and it's all the business sort of side of things. See, I'm normally just the hard worker that does what people say. Well, I used to be, whereas I've had to change all that around and be the person that comes up with the decisions on what to do. So it's been a big change, but it's yeah, constantly learning, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, where did you say where like what do you think caused that transition between you doing what everybody else wanted you to do to making your own decision for yourself?
Um, Yeah, there's nothing that you can really kind of pinpoint. It's just been more of um, like a gradual mindset change that, yeah, just starting the business really kind of kickstarted it, like accelerated that sort of need to follow what I want to do, um, and jump out of that comfort zone. But yeah.
Yeah. So have you stopped and assessed what you've done, or
No,
you've gone with the flow and look, I'm here now?
that's kind of it. I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I just go with the flow with everything I do.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to sort of sit back and go like, wow, you know, because there's always kids that need to be fed and bathed,
That's
like,
okay. The part why I'm interviewing different people is because a lot of people don't realize what they've done.
yeah,
Um, by asking you certain questions, I can see the steps that you've taken, even if you weren't necessarily conscious of it.
yeah,
Like stepping outside your comfort zone, like trusting yourself, like spending time by yourself, for yourself, that fuels your energy. Like those are recipes for living the kind of life that you want that
yeah,
other people don't do.
yeah. When you say it like that.
But thank you so much for the interview. Is there anything that you'd like to say to any of the viewers?
Oh, um,
Any piece of advice?
oh, I know. I haven't really thought.
Okay.
Yeah, but just for them to follow what they want to do, like not to kind of do something just because people say that that's how you have to live, like yeah, take a little risk one day and do something a little bit different, because you never know what might happen from it. So
I completely
yeah.
agree. You could end up opening your own business
Well,
and
that's
you
it.
love full time.
And doing stuff that you love. Like I remember the first kind of pop-up shop that I ever did. I was driving out to a PT place out of town, and it kind of hit then, and I thought, man, like I'm actually, making I'm working, I'm doing
Yeah,
something I love. Like I could really do this every day.
yeah,
And you put 100% into it. It's not like you're thinking of being somewhere else because you're doing what you absolutely love. Uh,
exactly.
That's it. Find something that you like doing, and yeah, not
I
what somebody else
agree.
is telling you like doing.
Exactly. Because even if you're working a job that you don't like, you can never 100% anyway, as much as you try because your heart's just not in it.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah. Well,
that's
thank you so much, Cindy.
no,
Thank you for
thank
your
you.
time.
All the best with your book.
Thank you. I'll stop the recording now. Bye, guys.